Hello. Hello. No, in fact, we had to go on Zoom, and there was a problem with the Zoom, and I think I inadvertently went through from my account and not from Lala Jayanti account. It was inadvertently, it was there, and for 10 minutes I was speaking on my own wall. So now I think I am on the right wall, that is right page, Lala Jayanti. Is it so? Okay, thank you very much. So, without wasting any further time, I welcome all of you and Jai Laleshwari. I thank all organizers, especially Shri Sunil Rana, Veronica Peer, and Sarah Gates, for coordinating in arranging this broadcast of this talk. I know most of you are aware about the Yogini Laleshwari. You too are aware about her avaks, her verses, and the medieval history of the Kashmir. The speaker who was yesterday there, he also spoke about the medieval history which was in the era when Lalla was there, and practical and social era at that time, and the various anecdotes with Yogini Laleshwari. I want to discuss certain anecdotes which are said to be associated with the Yogini Laleshwari. I simply today one or two anecdotes about which I have some my own reservations. So I will put them before all of you. But are we aware how this Lalla was revealed to us through her walks, through her verses, who toiled hard for getting those verses in Kashmir, who toiled hard? Yes, Grierson came to Kashmir, but he did a splendid work. But he was associated by certain persons from Kashmiri Pandit community. Worked hard in tracing out some contemporary or near contemporary record of Laleshwari. They could not. They visited from village to village, and particularly one person about which I have a special mention, that is Mahapodaya Mukundrab Shastri. He is the same person who gave his contribution so far as the Rasopadesh of Mata Rupavani is concerned. They were really committed to toil hard for getting the works of Laleshwari. The works of Laleshwari were not there in the shape of any manuscript. There was no written document available. And after in this pursuit, when Mahopadhyay Mukundarao Shastri went from village to village and ultimately landed in Handwara, which is the in the northernmost part of the Kashmir, when he went there, he met, he could not get any, he could not get any document or any manuscript there, but he met a very old Brahmin at village Gushi in Handwara. What was his name? His name was Dharmdas Darvesh. His name was Dharmdas Darvesh, and he was taking the aid of his memory. There was a practice prevalent in Kashmir, and that practice, that was called Kul Parampara Karakrama. Kram, Kul Parampara. It was a parampara from in a family that what we call as the mokshik conveying of this verbal conveying of vaks. So by that process, the way previously the Vedas, they also came through mokshik, through verbal unless and so when they were ultimately written down. But to that stage, it came from moksha. This was the beauty of in Hindu traditions, that they were carried verbally from. So Mukundarao Shastri, when he met Dharmdas Darvesh, he revealed 109 vaks. Mukundarao Shastri jotted down all the 109 verses, which included the 60 given by our Bhaskar Raja Rajanaka. Those 60 also included. And these 109 vaks were verses, they were given to Grierson, who did it then the. So who gave this Mukundarao Shastri? His name is not given, nor due credit is being given to him that he worked hard for these 109 vaks. So this is one unsung hero. This is how Lalla was revealed to us. Our introduction with Lalla is through her vaks only. A reappraisal was done about the vaks of the Laleshwari. This reappraisal was done somewhere, although there were research prior to that. Mukundarao Shastri collected these vaks, 109 vaks, in 1914. Today, the basis of the source material for my this talk is, this is Bhaskara Razdan's Lalavakayani. This is Lalavakayani of Bhaskara Razdan, but it is not in Sharda. It is in Sanskrit as well as in Kashmiri. It has got 60 vaks. Yesterday, someone commented when yesterday's learned speaker was giving lectures. So there was whether it is 48 or whether it is how many of vaks are there of Bhaskara Razdan. They are 60 only. They are 60 vaks, and there is a particular beauty in all these 60 vaks. I will mention those, what is the beauty in that. Now the second source of material for me, on which I put my reliance, is that it is of Professor Jayalal Cole Laldev, and this book is having stamp of Sahitya Academy. So it is a well researched book. It's a well researched book, and this when Jayalal Cole, Professor Jayalal Cole, when he jotted down this book for us, they did a reappraisal of Lala's works. Why did they reappraise? Because 109 were collected by Mukundram Shastri. Then the second research, Pandit Anand Cole came. He said that I have in this pursuit for more Lalwaks, the verses of Lalla. I have gone from village to village and I have collected 75 walks. So how many now it became? 109 plus 75, they became 184. Then there were more which came in piecemeals, and ultimately the number was frozen at 258 when Jayalal Cole did his research. Now today, my one point, I have compartmentalized my talk today into two, three cases. So far as the reappraisal I was talking about, in this reappraisal, thanks to Professor P.N. Pushp, Dr. Baljinath Pandit, you know Dr. Baljinath Pandit, he has been a Shaivat and an authority on Shaivat, Professor Mohiuddin Hajini, and Professor Jayalal Cole. Now, credit was given to Mukundram Shastri. We are giving credit to Grierson also. We are giving it to Jayalal Cole also. We are giving to P.N. Pushp, Dr. Balji Pandit, and Mohiuddin Hajini Sahab. But I want to give the credit to one more, the name you must not be familiar with. And who is she? She is Meeta Vasisht. Who is this Meeta Vasisht? Meeta Vasisht, he got her education in Punjab University. And I think she is the only artist in India who performs live on stage, and live performance is all about Laleshwari. 11 years back at Tagore Theatre, Chandigarh, she had a program and she had live about Laleshwari. She acted as Laleshwari and she recited walks in Kashmiri and at the same time translated them into English, and she is the only artist who is performing outside India too. She performed in France in French about the Laleshwari. Now the only unfortunate part was that when she performed in Chandigarh, I, with my folded hands, invited many from my community to come to Tagore Theatre, but I am sorry to say I could find only 1 or 2 persons who were watching that program, that beautiful program. Why I am? Because nobody knows her name. Nobody knows how positively she is contributing towards spreading the message of Lalla. Meeta Vasisht has given her contribution. So this is another part. Now, third part is certain friends of mine. They told me that how it is 700th year of Laleshwari, which we are celebrating now in 2020. How is it is that? Yesterday also the date perhaps was, the year of birth was told about near about 1910, and 1910 was said to be communicated by Professor Jayaharlal Kohli. Let me make it clear. Jayaharlal Kohli has nowhere mentioned the year of her probable birth as 1910. Now, to clear this fact, I may tell you how 2020 has come to the picture. Jayaharlal Kohli, in short, I may tell that he has given a probable date after correlating these dates with certain incidents, with certain anecdotes, with certain hagiographical accounts. And he has said that it is somewhere between 1317 up to 1320. And he has concluded that it is not beyond 1320. It must be 17, it can be 18, it can be 19, but it cannot be later than 1320. This is what Professor Jayaharlal Kohli has written in his book at page 7. So let us be clear about it. Because we don't have any written date or a specific year of birth or a date of birth about Laleshwari. We are simply correlating those incidents. Then we will come for, we will then discuss certain works of Laleshwari. I may say, let us say, how many of Lala's works are really of Lala's? I told you that the works were, this figure was frozen at 258. Jayaharlal Kohli outrightly, including, that is what his research was saying, which was duly endorsed by Sahitya Akademi. He eliminated 100 works out of 258 that they don't belong to the Lalla. Then how much remains there? There remain 158. 20 works were found to be from Nundrishi. Then how much remains there? 138. These are the 138. They are in his book. These 138. So he has given, out of 258 works, he says only 138 verses belong to Lalla. Bhaskar Razan, he gave only 60. And one of my friends told, although I did not read the book of a well-known author of our community who recently expired, he has given only 42. He says only 42 are the real verses of the Laleshwari. And there have, particularly after 1990, certain books have come into the market where the works are touching 300. People like me, we are bewildered. Here 258 is questionable. Only 138 are said to be belonging to these works to the Lalla. Now how this number has gone to 300? Where from they have come? So my request is only one thing. Please don't dilute the school of thought of Laleshwari. If you have to increase the value of a book, sir, please do this exercise for some other book, but not with the works of the Laleshwari. Don't bring impurity into a pure works of Laleshwari. This I will practically today prove. Now this is Bhaskar Razan's Lalawat. If you go through this book, this is almost 100 years old. It is printed by Vishnath Printing Press, which was existing 100 years ago. If you go through this book, you will see a particular Shaili. Shaili means pattern. You will see a particular pattern of Lalawats. You will see a particular language of Lalawats. You will see a particular message of Lalawats. You will see a specific vocabulary of Lalawats. You will really relish. You will enjoy this book of these 60 walks. There are certain walks which find their place even in Professor Jailal's book, but that walk does not exist in the book of Bhaskaras. You will find certain anecdotes mentioned by each and every writer. But if you correlate with them, the verses of Lalla, you will find them, it is simply absurd anecdotes which have been added up. Two anecdotes today I will discuss. I may beg your more time because we started late due to certain technical hitches. So see, we never had any earliest mention in so far as our Sanskrit manuscripts are concerned, whether this has been a deliberate attempt not to give space to Laldad because of certain reasons. And we do not find mention even in medieval history chronicles. Jonaraja at one place mentions Mahayogin. That means there must have been more than one yogini. She was the head of the yoginis. And who was she? This is an indirect hint towards Laleshwari. This Guru Shishya Parampara, this existed from centuries. Now, who is another person to whom the history has not done the justice which should have been there? And that is the Guru of Laleshwari, who popularly was known as Sadhu. Otherwise, he was known as Siddha Sirikantha. There are certain anecdotes regarding his guru also, because it is our spiritual illiteracy that we don't perfectly translate or know the meaning of works of Laleshwari. So today we will also discuss some part of about her guru also, Sadmol. You must not be aware, there is a temple in Pampore, Kashmir, which is called Sadhumalun Mandir. This temple is dedicated to Siddha Sirikantha, who popularly was known as Sadmo. There was a river ghat in Pampore, which was called as Sadmolun Ghat, where he used to bath early in the morning. But now that name has vanished from the history books. One of my friends told me that Lalla is asking his guru, Goras Pruchom Sasalite. Yasniki Himana Taskavana. And now one of my friends was telling that he's asking 1,000 times to him. Doesn't Guru know? But if we go to each and every work of Lalla, what she says about her guru, who put her into the right track and took his disciple to such an extent that although she walked on that track, she earned her way to the pure consciousness because of her own hard work, own concentration, own sadhana. But when we say that she is saying to Guru, Goras Prisham Sasalet, I asked her 1,000 times. It's not that he was not knowing he was knowing it, because the state of pure consciousness, the state of bliss, nobody can name it, nobody can explain it. It is to be felt, it's to be realized. On the contrary, she in her walk says, he got Parameshwar. Her own guru, she compares with the Parameshwar. Another is Goras Purshom Sasalat. Yasni ke havana taskyavan. I explained it to you. It was pure consciousness. What Guru will? It is to be felt, it is to be realized. You have to reach to such a stage of sadhana where you will yourself now know it. In third, she says, Gor Shabdas Yus Yas Pats Bari. Gor Shabdas Yus Yas Pats Bari. That means have trust on your Guru. When she says these words, these vaks, this clearly shows that how her Guru has been a true Shaivite, a knowledgeable Guru, because of whom Lala achieved her last stage of sadhana, that is bliss. Now, here I may point out one. There is one vak, Goran Vunnam Punui Vatsum, Nebru Vunnam Andaratsum. Nebru Vunnam Andaratsum. Who tells her? Nebru Vunnam Andaratsum? Then you are finding God outside. The God resides inside you. You realize and Guru is telling that don't wander outside. Lala says, Latan hun maaz muthum vatan. Latan hun maaz muthum vatan. That means in search of God, there were blisters in my feet. But what Guru told, that nothing is outside. You just concentrate inside. You come. Now there is an anecdote. There a story goes that on one day, the Guru was having bath at Pampur Ghat, whatever said, Sadamolun Ghat, and Lala was cleaning a pot just outside, not from inside. It is said that Guru told her, Lala, what are you doing? Why you are cleaning outside only? This pot you are cleaning outside, not from inside. And she said that she communicates to Guru that you are taking a bath and you are cleaning outside. You are not cleaning your inside. Now, if you compare with the vak, Nebruvunnam Andaratsu, if Guru is telling that there is nothing outside, you just concentrate on inside. Now, you compare this anecdote with this vak. And each and everyone is writing this anecdote in his book. Why we are not correlating these anecdotes with the vaks of Lala? And I will, one thing more. The extension of the same vak. Nebruvunnam Andaratsun, Sui Lali Mego Vakt Vatsun. This is one concluding line. Another line, the same line, is Tanai Lalihut Nangai Natsu. Now, which one is correct? If Tanai Lalihut Nangai Natsu, if it is not there, then why it is finding place in the books? If it is correct that Sui Lali Megau Vakt Vatsun, why it is not finding the place in this walk? Why we are changing the message? Why we are changing the vocabulary of Lala? Now, another walk I will tell you. See, this is number 17 walk of Laleshwari. He says, Dehavata, Devirvata. Now, how vocabulary has changed? In books, we find Devavata, Divirvata. You can see it is Dehavata. Now, which one is correct? Is Dehavata correct or Devata correct? Who is going to tell it to us? I am just a common reader. I ask the questions to those research scholars that which one is correct, Devata or Devirvata? Devata. If Devata is there, where from you got this Devata? If it is Devata, then Bhaskarajan is wrong. Now see the difference. Yesterday, there was a discussion on this that Lalla was against the idol worship. She was not against the idol worship. This particular walk was being discussed yesterday. Now I say, when you are replacing Dev with Dev Vata, that means Dev, you are saying God Vata. God is of stone. So this completely changes the meaning of the sentence. That means your temple is of stone, your God is of stone, everything from top to bottom it is of stone. Puzakaskarak Hutubata. Now who is Hutubata? Hutubata is a stubborn Bata. And who is Bata? Bata was that person, it was given to a name, one who will himself learn and will make others and will teach others also. He was Bata. It is not simply word Bata. Bata is one who would teach and himself learn also. Both ways. You will acquire your knowledge, you will spread the knowledge. He was Bata. Now who is Hutubata? Hutubata is a stubborn Bata. Now what is Devata? If you are saying with Devata, Dev is the God, who is Devata? So see, it is Sanskrit version. This is Sanskrit version of Bhaskaraja. And almost Jailal, from Grierson to this, there are almost a gap of 200 years. What is he saying? He is saying, Chaitam Devo Nirmato. Chaitam Devo Nirmato. Nirmato means Nirman. You are building. Chaitam Dev. चेतन से जाके चैतम से, वो गॉड कहाँ से आ गया? अगर आपका चैत ही इतना आप उसके, देर इज नथिंग, you are allowing nothing to go inside. Your knowledge is not that, your sadhana is not up to that such extent. How will you get a bliss? How will you meet Shiva? So now you will, if you replace with Dev, then it becomes the God is your of stone. So sir, this is my humble request to all research scholars that let us not play with the vocabulary of Laleshwari. It is agreed, there is provision that for the 700 years there must have been a change. Yes, we will keep a provision for that. But when we are having a document which is earlier by 200 years, then when 109 walks were revealed, why we should rely on that also. It has got its own importance. I was telling you that Lala did not find her mention in the books of the Sanskrit books or in the earlier chronicles. The earliest was mentioned in Asrarul Abrar, and Asrarul Abrar is not a chronicle. It is a hagiographical document where the detail of saints have been mentioned. Another, the earliest, Tariq-i-Husaini. When Tariq-i-Husaini, what is mentioned in that? There it is mentioned as Majnoon-e-Aqila. Lalla has been given the name Majnoon-e-Aqila, who is mad in love of God. Who is mad in love of God. We initially initiated the question also that how it is 2020 when we are celebrating her 70th year. In fact, the three dates were taken: 1300, 1301, 1334, 1335, and 1346, 1347. 1346, 47 was outrightly ruled out. Because when we compare certain incidents, we are not having that much time to speak, otherwise I would have touched it in more detail. And 1300 and 1301 was also ruled out. Although it has a relevance why these dates were taken as it, we have Sir Dedumari has mentioned it as Zahrosh Namud. Namud means Ujagar Hona. Ujagar means coming into the prominence, which definitely does not mean the birth. So what Dedumari says, it has relevance with the prominence, and prominence 1346, 1347, it is that date when Lala, when she was carrying that pot full of water from a river bank to her home, and her husband, he struck it with a stick or with a pebble, and the miracle was that the water did not fall. It remained there on the shoulders of the Lalla. When she filled up all the utensils, still some remained, and she threw it from the window of her house, and it took a shape of a pond, which is what called the Laltara. This incident is in 1346, 1347. So this year cannot be the birth of the Laldat. The only by correlating is what the Professor Jayalal Kaul says, it is between 1307 and 1320. So that is taken as a date. So, and he says not later than 1320. Now, why Lalla did not find place? Why Lalla did not find place in earliest manuscripts? Sorry, not in manuscripts, but in chronicles or in Sanskrit. She is said to be against all these dogmas, rituals, and Adhikar Veda. What was this Adhikar Veda? Shortly, I will tell you that even ladies were forbidden from reciting Gayatri Mantra. they were forbidden from worshipping Saligram if she is a widow. Lalla has been a revolutionary. Really, she has been a revolutionary. She revolutionized the way of worship. She told what is the correct path to follow. So she came against this Adhikar Veda. Maybe the Pandits of those era, they must not have liked her. Or knowingly or unknowingly, she does not find place in those documents, in those chronicles. Now there is another anecdote. Now there is another anecdote which is relating to Said Ali Hamdani. There is a popular saying by the third person in Kashmiri, what we recite is, Aaye Vainis Gai Kandras. Is it a true incident? Evaluated this incident? If it is not true, why it is finding place in books? There are more than one evidence which negates this. Is a folklore. It is a folk tale. Aaye Vainis Gai Kandras. You will not find this mention in any book except one. I will quote same Dadamari when he says, in Waqit-e Kashmir, he says, this incident does not stand proved. Then who wrote this? Who first mentions? There is a book, Majmu'ul Tawarikh. And who has written this Majmu'ul Tawarikh? In 1836, Birbal Kajru. He first mentions this incident, nobody else. And from that book, it finds its place in so many other books. That means this impurity got added in the subsequent editions of the books. Now, who is responsible for this? That's why I am saying it is useless to have 300 walks. Tomorrow, after 30, 40 years, somebody will quote this book. The school of thought of Lalla, it will get diluted. Impurity will get added up into the walks of Lalla. If we have frozen this figure at 138, let us keep it there, 138. There is nothing wrong if we ignore even 5-6 more walks, even if they are belonging to the school of thought of Lalla. But what is the fun of adding near about 150 more walks which are not basically belonging to the school of thought of Lalishwari? For a people like me, who don't have any credentials of research, I will take them further. I will say yes, they must be of Laleshwari only. Somebody tomorrow, after 30, 40 years, he will quote from this book. So let us do an exercise of pruning. Duty is cast on us. Let us keep purity intact. The way the Lala had pure consciousness, let us keep. Now I may just recite some walks of Laleshwari. अभ्यासय सविकास लाइवथु अभ्यासय सविकास लाइवथु गगन सगुन म्युल समित्रटा शून्य गुलतय अनामय मृतु योहि उपदेश छी बटा योहि उपदेश छी बटा you bata. This is an advice for you. Abhyas savikas. Abhyas, repeated practice. You just do one thing. From tomorrow, spare 1 hour in the early morning and have dhyan. You will see your mind will not be in your control. Your mind, your heart, your thought, it will not be in unison. You will be having no control on your. Try it second day. Try it on third day. Try it on fourth day. Try it on 30 days, sir. And try it for 5 months, 6 months. Still you will see that your abhyasa is still not adequate. Now what Jayalalal Cole tells, by oft repeated practice, the wide expanse of manifested universe is lifted to absorption, and the Saguna world of forms and qualities merges in the vastness of the void with a splash of water or water falling. Then the ethereal void dissolves and the ineffable supreme alone remains. This, oh Bata, is the truth to gain. I will another walk which is very, very important. It is important on the part of, you will see that how elevated mind was of Lala. At the same time, I will tell you that in Sanatan, not in Shaivism only, in Sanatan, I will tell you what is its equivalent to. Yimaishe tse, timaishe me, yimaishe tse, timaishe me, Shamagalace Vinatotus Chu Yohai Bina Bed Setame Yohai Bina Bed Setame. This difference between you and me, Shiva, addressing you as Shiva and me, it's a Shan Swami, your master of six, it's a Shan Swami. Bichai Mushis. Bushai Muchis. क्या इसका equivalent क्या है? O Lord of the dark, blue throat, I have the same six thou hast, and yet estranged from thee, I suffer misery. There surely is this difference. Thou art the master of the six. You are master of the six. By the six, I have been robbed. Those six qualities of Shiva makes him the master of. And Lala says, by the six impurities, what we call in Shaivism Kanchakas, or impurities, or Mala, master of six as per Trikashastra is what? Maya, Shakti, Sarvakar Tritiya, Sarvaj Natva, Purnatva, Nityatva, Vyapakatva. And what are the 6 Kanchukas? 6 impurities? They are Maya, Kala, Vidya, Raga, Kal, and Niyati. Now, the same thing has been explained in Sanatan. It is called as Shadadosh. Shad means 6. Dosh means fault. These Shadadoshas, these 6, what are these 6 Shadadoshas? What are these 6 faults? There is a, I will recite that mantra. It is Purshe Neh Hatvya Bhuti Michta. What are now the 6? Nidra, Tandra, Bhayam, Krodh, Alasyam, Dirghasutrata. These are 6 which we carry as the mal, or which we may call as the Kanchukas also. The 6 faults, what are these 6 faults? They should be avoided. These are sleep, drowsiness, fear, anger, indolence, and procrastination. They should be avoided. Now see the knowledge of Lalla. Even just in 4 lines, Lalla conveys such a message which a whole page will not suffice to explain. See her standard of knowledge. Let us another one. Nath Napan. Nath Napan. Nath is connected to Shiva. Nath Napan Napan Naparzonum. Naparzonum Sadai Bodum Ekoi Deh. Tsb you, me, and you. Tsb Mulnazonum Tsukus Bukas Chusande. Raising a doubt that are we both different? No, we are not both different. You and me are the same. Soham. You and me are the same. What now? Jalalal Kohli writes, Lord, I did not know who I was, nor thou, the Supreme Lord of all. I know only this body of mine. Always the relation between thou and me, that thou art I and I am, thou and both are one. I did not know. मेरे को पता ही नहीं था कि हम दो एक ही है, लेकिन अब पता लग गया. Now I have come to know. Who art thou? Who am I? Is doubt of doubts. Now see her another. This is the standard of knowledge. Banu galu tai prakash av zune. Banu galu tai prakash av zune. Chandra galu tai metu chit galu tai ketana kuni. Chit galu tai ketana kuni. Gai bur boa soha milit katu. This is a one stage dissolving into another stage. When you are doing the sadhana, see, now what is the equivalent? The sun sets, the moon begins to shine, the moon sets, the mind alone is left. The mind dissolved. nothing remains. Earth, atmosphere, and sky depart. In the supreme, they are absorbed. Nothing remains. Nothing even. What is void? What is void? It is pure, it is state of pure consciousness. She has now realized it. She has achieved this stage. She has reached to the stage of pure consciousness. She says, Tantra Galtai Mantar Mache. Tantra Galitai Mantar Mache. Mantar Galtai Metoi Chit. Chit Goltai Ketana Kunye. Shunya Shunya Milit Gav. Shunya Shunya Milit Gav. Why do it's wide? What is there? It's pure consciousness. It is state of pure consciousness again. So, what do you say? Should I continue for 5-10 minutes or should I conclude? Should I continue or should I conclude? Okay. See, one vak is Lal Badrayas Lohlare. Lal Badrayas Lohlare. Sanda Lusum Dun Kyo Raat. Wuchum Pandit Pani Gari. Suime Rotmas Nakhetar Saat. A very common vak. But Sandan Lusum Dinkyo Raat Wuchum Pandit Pani Gari. I was wandering outside. I was in search of God. That is why I quoted one that Latanund Maz Larium Vatan. So she was wandering in search of God. That she reached the stage of bliss where she realized pure consciousness and she realized the God. And she says, Pandit Vuchum Panni Gari. Here the Pandit is himself God, himself Shiva. So Chumpani Gari. I say, why I am wandering outside? That Parmeshwar is within me. I have realized him. Suime Rutmas Nakhetar Saath. And from there on, Nakhetar Saath Ratun, what does it mean? That this is a good woman for me now. I have realized Shiva within me. Now, this is a good woman for me from now onwards. He and me and he, we are same. Now what Jalal Kol says, for love that would not let me be, I, Lala, set forth in search of him, and I toiled for days and nights. When I toiled for days and nights, then what happened? Then lo, I have found him here. Where? Within me. Then lo, the most auspicious moment of life, I saw the Pandit in my own house. Own house is his own body. Pandit is Shiva. Now, Lala was a keen believer in non-duality. It is clear from her works. In one her walks, this non-duality is clear, is crystal clear. The walk goes like Parthipan yem samay moon, Parthipan yem samay moon, yem hui moon, din kyo raat, yem si adui man. What is this adui? Sir, adui is non-duality. Yem si adui man sampun, tami duthui Surgurunath. Again, the different name for Shiva. Tami duty Surgurunath. Non-duality. She is stressing on non-duality. What? He who regards himself and others alike, he who regards alike both day and night, he whose mind is free from duality, he alone hath seen the God of gods. Yes, particularly. Yes, Pankaj Kolji, bilkul. You are very clear. Yes, this is non-duality. She stresses on non-duality, and this clearly shows that she was a high it is not that she was not having she was not literate. No, she was literate. She was literate to the extent that she absorbed all tenets of the Shaivism, and here the credit also goes to her guru, to her guru Sadamol. We must at least, whenever we take mention Lalava, something about Lalit, we must give due credit to her guru also. He must have been a Shaivat of high order. He has given us a disciple who proved to be master of masters. How master of masters? There is a third person is saying, Gav Chaat Goras Khasit. Gav Chaat Goras Khasit. That means the disciple far ahead. It is just like a professor is a student, and later the student comes with a doctorate, and that thesis which breaks all layers of research, and his teacher is less known than the student. Student finds its mention. This is what happens with the Lala. Lala, that's why in her favor we say Gav Varaskast. Lala achieved the state of bliss. She revolutionized everything. And it is unfortunate that we don't have a contemporary record of hers. Otherwise, maybe we could have a very insightful this picture of Laleshwari. But still, these 138 walks, these 138 verses, they communicate Lala as the yogini of very high order. Let us, this is on 700th years. Let us put her sayings into the practical use. Let us try to do our own sadhanas. Let us, if we cannot achieve high order, but at least what she is saying, a practical shape. It is not only that we hear a walk from this year and leave it from this year, or we simply hear walk and only appreciate, but appreciation is true, but put them into the practical use also. With this, I think if there is anything wrong or in my conduct, or because I already requested you that I am I have no credentials of any writing any book on Lalla. I am purely a keen reader, a keen observer. That is what I observed from these books. Whatever I could read and write, whatever I could derive the meaning of these works, maybe try to translate it myself. I alcohol. So because it is darshan, it is philosophy. It is just like those four friends who were blind, and an elephant was kept before them to describe. Somebody said the tail is to the tail, he said it's a snake. From the legs, they said they are the pillars. I am also a blind man so far as this spiritual part is concerned. So I never wanted to have my own explanation of any work. So with this, I conclude, and Jai Laleshwari to all. Namaskar. Thank you, and thank you.